Oh, yeah. Okay. We don't want that. You might want to turn your phones off or turn them down. Good evening. My name is Jill Richwine. I just moved to Cameron 3 years ago. Pardon me.
Sorry.
I came all prepared with this pattern.
Okay, good. I'd like to welcome all of you here today. And I am Becky Mulford. I'm the sponsor of this event. And I would like to thank a few people that helped. One is Shelley Blades, our county clerk, and Steve Rasmussen, our city manager that helped make this venue possible. I'd like to thank all of the candidates that are here tonight that were willing to participate. All 4 candidates on the ballot were invited to this event. Karen Hamlet declined to come, no matter which night we were to have this. So we'll continue with our 3 candidates. I'd also like to thank a few friends that helped with the refreshments there. My friend Emily and Vera and Joanne, and also my husband Mike, who is my greatest supporter. So the format tonight is we're going to have each of the candidates introduce themselves, and they'll get up to 5 minutes each, and then we'll open it up for questions. And the way that we want to do the questions, we'll have you raise your hand, and then I'll call on you to ask the question, and everyone can have, well, not everyone, we have limited time. But if you've asked one question, we'd like to wait until everyone else has had a chance to ask a question before you ask a second one. Okay? So first of all, Jill.
Good evening. My name is Jill Richwine. I moved to Cameron with my family January of 2021. I came here because my father was suffering dementia, and my father is a Marine. He passed in '22. We were here because of the Veterans Administration amenities, if you will, access for my father. And that's what brought us here. My husband and I were retiring and planning. My husband came down with brain cancer and passed, okay, in the same year, February of '22. And October, my father passed. So I have my son and I'm remanufacturing my life. I love beautification. I want to protect property values. I don't want outside speculation that we don't have the best interest in for our future. I'm working for my son's future and for the other children in this community. I would like to see, of course, roads, of course, progress in jobs, families that need to look for good schools to bring their children to. I think that's imperative that we stay focused on the children and their futures. I really think that the Great American water pipeline that's coming from the Missouri River at St. Joseph, it's a 20-year story, history of this. There's a new utility company, American Utility Company, and they have built new infrastructure on the Missouri River, and they've been sending us a 35-mile pipeline. And that's due to open in October. Well, I envision plumbing work. This new pressure is going to come through these old lines, and yes, we'll have great water, but something's going to bust, and something's going to bust. So I want to be happy to deliver water to our draining or evaporating reservoir system. I think that will make our community flourish. We won't have to worry about how often you wash your car, showers with your family. I'm sure that we're going to see an increase, but I think that it's about time we updated some things in our infrastructure. I would like to see more funding from the state. I will go there as many times as it is offered to say, we have veterans and they deserve to have streets of gold. Okay, anyone here paying taxes deserves to have at least a turnaround in vehicle repair in a week. I would like to bring more jobs to this area, more skilled workers, a VOTEC center to build skills that maybe we can harness. The whole entire north sector of Missouri is hurting for funding. We have one representative. Money is focused down in the Ozarks, south of I-70, St. Louis. So we're really going to have to make some noise, and we're going to have to unite, and we're going to have to put on a smile and invite some strangers into our neighborhood. We've got a big river running out here, I-35, 36. We are the crossroads, we are the heartland, we are the buckle of the Bible Belt. We should be welcoming, and we should be attractive to move forward in a positive manner. We need to get off of social media, get in our yards and clean it up, help our neighbors, and pay attention to what's going on in the city, and participate, volunteer, support people having a hard time adjusting post-pandemic. And then I think we will thrive once we get good streets, new settings for children to play that are safe. That's all in the works. I see here, there's a large park system, and our minds need that. To really love your life, you need a utopia. Well, this is our utopia. We'll become that if we work together. So on my left and right, we have former and current council members that have worked very hard to establish what we have. And I'm grateful for Steve Rasmussen. And I've met other people in the last 3 years that have moved here about the same time. We're all looking and observing. And if you vote for me, I will deliver. I won't rest. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jill. And the next one is going to be Becky. Okay.
Hi guys. Some of you know me, I'm Becky Curtis. Been here a long time. I walked the halls of Cameron High School and all my children did as well. And some of us even had the same teachers. Can you believe that? I had Mr. Goodwin as one of my kids. We loved to do that. So, as you know, I've been here, ended up working in a contract office, a license office. And when I started doing that back in 2005, you may not ever know the story, but I take care, in a license office, everybody comes into, everybody. Rich, poor, freshly out of prison, freshly out of hospital, we see them all. And I actually started hearing all the different stories about our city. And first of all, I had been a volunteer in our city when I was raising my children. I used to go over to his office and bark on his door every so often as a community person, just as a citizen. So, being the fact that I really cared about the people of Cameron and are my neighbors, working with the state like I started doing back in 2005, I realized that sometimes departments can go a little rogue sometimes if they're not overseen, whether at the state, federal. And so I started showing up at City Hall and in the chamber 5 years ago, and just started paying attention to what was going on, was interested in it. And I started scrutinizing the council people. I started learning what kind of form of government we were, what kind of rules they were. Were they going outside the rules? Were they even paying attention to the rules? Because, you know, we're a third-class city. We have to go by what the statute says we're a third-class city. We can't just make up our own ordinances. They have to follow state statutes. And so I knew all that. So anyway, eventually, after about 4 or 5 years coming here and learning so much, I decided that I would see if I could serve the people another way, to just make sure that they're well taken care of, and just be an advocate for our citizens and be a partner to the staff here. So that's what I've been doing. I was very honored to be elected in 2018 and have enjoyed it, have learned so much. We as a city, I sat on a couple different boards, and what we have now is a board council that is open. They talk to each other. When I first got on, we didn't, and it's really nice. You can only do so much when you talk. So I appreciate what we have. I appreciate what we had, really. We have been slowly working together as a community, and I do believe that we are continuing to do that. We still have a way to go. But I think that with what we see here this afternoon says that there are people interested in our community. And I will also tell you that over the last 2 years, the council has made roads a top priority. My first 2 years in council, we had zero in the road budget, and there's a long reason for that. If you want to hear it sometime, call me up, I'll tell you. But we went from, we're supposed to have at least $500,000 in our road budget. This last year, we have it in our budget for the first time ever since I've been on council. So that is a huge priority for this council, and also infrastructure and taking care of what we own. This building is one of them. So we haven't been doing that, and I've been kind of barking about that over the last few years, and I think this council is going to find a way of getting that in a budget line item so that we are not going to have something like this going on in the future. Other than that, I've enjoyed serving you guys, and thank you so much.
Thank you. John?
Hello, my name is John Figer, and I see a lot of faces I know, and I see a lot of faces that I don't know out there tonight. So thank you for coming out and spending your time with us. We really do appreciate it. I've lived in Cameron for a really long time. Since 1970, I have had 2 hiatuses out of Cameron. I went to school at SMS in the 90s, well, I guess it would be MSU now, down in Springfield. I got my degree in finance at the university. And then I also went out to Phoenix for a job and was out there for a few years and found my wife, luckily. And we do have 3 boys. So it's never been slow for us out there or here. I'm also a former council member. During my tenure on the council, I learned a lot. The first year is amazing. You learn so much. By the third year, you kind of might have down maybe 50% of it. But if you're willing to learn and you're willing to keep going, you can do a lot to help the community. I actually was able to get and earn the certificate, it's called the Certificate Municipal Official Award from the MML in 2018. It was I believe it was the first, and I believe it was also the last time that one of our council members did it. Took this job very serious. I am a learner. If I don't know an answer, I'm going to go learn. And that is exactly what I did by going to numerous classes over a 3-year period of time, because I felt like that the citizens that put me in this position deserved that. I was, again, like I said, I was on the council for 3 years. I was mayor pro tem, not mayor, but I appreciate it. I'm just teasing Jimmy. I've talked to him about that. I'm still waiting for that severance pay for being a mayor. No, I've coached kids in one regards or another. Like I said, I've had 3 boys, and so that's been 20 years my passion. And I'm just getting to the point now where I have to let him, the youngest one go. He's in high school now, so he's getting coached there. And I still try to remain involved in numerous other activities. I am a member of the First Baptist Church. We have a men's Sunday school group there that I attend regularly and enjoy. We just got Big Beast Feast and things like that to kind of help build the community together. I was also a Sunday school teacher for a while. So I've done a lot of different things in the community. Some of those with Becky back in the day, we did a lot of volunteering. We would go out and ask other volunteers to jump in and help, and we need to get back to that. We can't just have 3 or 4 people. We can't just have city staff doing it. We as a community have to get out there together, hand in hand, and keep working towards the goals of Cameron. In my previous life, I was a principal, a manager, a supervisor, a customer service rep with several very large financial institutions, the Vanguard Group, American Century, Thrivent Financial, and Transamerica. I held several different licenses. Regardless of all of that, the bottom line is it gives me the ability to be able to look through the finances. I can find things that maybe we can cut back on so that we don't have to raise the costs on utilities, etc., for our seasoned citizens and our middle class folks. So that is pretty much it on me specifically. But I will say that my three main objectives, and these are things that I'm seeing and talking to people, whether it be up at a basketball court, or whether it be at Walmart, or whether it be at church. These are the things that continue to resonate. And that is, we need to balance the budget. We've got a lot of money that we owe for the water pipeline, and it's going to cost a lot of money to each and every one of you unless we can find some ways to offset those costs. Number 2, we have to fix and maintain our streets and sewers and just continue to build on that, because we're not going to bring in business and we're going to hurt our citizens if we don't. And lastly, is to approach the city economic development in a new way. I want to try to get some initiatives going where we can actually get folks, the real estate agents that are in this town, that are already bringing in businesses and folks, to get incentives set up for them so that they can go ahead and help us bring business to Cameron. thank you very much to everybody that put this together, for the desserts and everything like that. We certainly appreciate it. And again, I appreciate all of you for coming out today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ellie. I'm going to start with a question, and then we'll open it up to the community here. So, I would like to ask the three of you, how do you perceive the concept of eminent domain? And are there past or future projects where you see that eminent domain would be a good thing to use?
I'll take
Jump
that.
in?
You remember when you did it, right?
Is that where we're supposed to go?
No, it doesn't matter.
Oh, okay.
You can just jump in.
Eminent domain can be found in the Fifth Amendment of the American Constitution. It gives the city, or the state, or the nation, governors, to take over your space, to provide, say, utilities. So that's what's happened with the American Pipeline, the water pipeline, and it's not been easy to deal with that. Because it always comes out the eminent domain, I'm having a tongue twister moment. Eminent domain is a struggle. You should take the money. You should negotiate with a lawyer to make sure you get the best possible price. That would be my recommendation if I was having to do that. The regular agricultural rezoning that just happened out here where the steers used to run just east of the highway there, catty corner from Love's, that's where Transamerica trucking's coming. I'm concerned about the cemetery. Things are gonna blow over, and we care, we should care. Packard Road, what's gonna happen? People are gonna drive their big trucks down and tear up, turn around, it's not gonna be paved back there, or is it? I'd like to find out, because that's a gateway or an entry to town. I'm not looking for something that's expensive, but something that designates this is the portal to Cameron. Welcome, please come here. We'd like to have attractions. When I was young, there were bees in Nickerson Farm. Was a building that is now Red Top. Why that's a storage facility on that corner, I'm not sure, with Wallace State Park across. So we just need to get smart and make some new choices. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, John.
Eminent domain, that's a tough one. She's right, it is in our Constitution. Cities do use it. Political subdivisions can use it, counties. Anytime that you are a political subdivision, you can use that. Now, some of them, I think in the past have used them for maybe just a small group of people's wishes. But I do believe that that's why they take it to court. That's why a judge weighs in on eminent domain to make sure that it is for all, or at least for the area, not just a specific few. So yes, actually it's the Corporation of Great Northwest Waters Commission is the one who is building the pipeline. It is not Cameron. However, Cameron does have a commissioner on the commission, and so does America, and they have one from Maysville. So yes, they had to take some eminent domain, and it's working through, and it's for water. So that is something that has been laid down starting back in 2012. And it's taken this long to get to this point. And eminent domain, I'd say it can kind of be a tiger. Sometimes it's probably a little wild, and maybe sometimes you can tame it in it. It's for the well-being of everyone. We wouldn't have our interstate system if it wasn't for some of that. We wouldn't have a lot of things. So it's, case by case in my book.
Okay, John?
Well, this is one that I'm sure I'm going to disagree with the other two folks up here with. Is it legal? Yes. Is it right? No. I don't like it. Are there some situations where we have absolutely had to do it? Yes. I get that, I understand that, but in my heart, it's one of those things where we need to take every other possible avenue first before we go and confiscate someone else's property. So, and again, I'm a little different. I'm a little more libertarian in that regard. I just don't like the fact that the government has the ability to just go in and take something. So, anyway, that's my answer.
Thank you very much. Open to the public.
Has anyone heard how much the water is supposed to go up at? Has HDR engineering supplied a budget yet? Possibly, yes, we can budget for that.
Okay, we have a question over here, okay?
Do you want people to just stand up where they are and ask the questions?
Just ask the question with the loud voice, yeah.
I'll stand to make sure it makes its way to Jimmy's mic. Okay. According to our audited financial statements, long-term liabilities have increased from $10.5 million in 2016 to $27.4 million in 2022. And I don't think that counts anything related to the water. You can correct me on that. How long can we continue to add debt of this magnitude, and do you anticipate significant projects which might warrant doing so?
Any of the three of you can jump in.
All right, debt. Don't you just love it? No, I don't. However, my tenure so far on this is that this is kind of a big thing, and I'm going to just encapsulate all of it. Okay. EPA says that we have to have our sewer water clean at a certain level. We had to put ultraviolet lights of some kind in this last year. They make us revamp a lot of things every 4 to 6 years. That can be anywhere from 3 to 6 million to do. I know for a fact for 3 million. We've had to bond for that. Okay, we don't have the money for that. We bond. And bonding is a whole unique thing that cities use. You want to make sure that you actually have the revenue to go with the bonding, because there is a debt service that goes with it. And I hate debt service, just so you know, because I look at that and it's not fun. But there's something else to that. I was just talking to Jim Shrimpton today because I knew that question was coming. And so I talked to our financial accountant today about that, because these bonding people come to us city councils quite a bit. Projects for the sewage, the clean water, we have it to keep our water fresh out of the reservoir. We also have to have those tanks clean, chemicals increase, though that's in our budget. But anytime the EPA makes us do a big change, which they do so that your water is healthy, it's bonded. And the only most recent thing that we've done, and that's only because we have a sales tax for the park, is that when you have a sales tax that comes in, we've done it for the stormwater shelter. We haven't never done it for our streets, because the way in which our department had wanted to do it over the last 12 years is we wanted to make sure that we had all the money into the account before we did a street. Well, this year, we decided to bond the income that was coming in off that sales tax for streets only, and bond that so that we can get these streets done now at a cheaper price than waiting 3 to 5 years to build those streets, which they cost higher and higher every year. So that's bonding, and we have a revenue for that. So we have been doing now some capital improvements. We're always doing capital improvements. A city is always doing a capital improvement. So bonding is one of the ways in which they do that. They're bonded anywhere from, like our animal shelter got bonded, because we had money for that, but we wanted to make sure that it was not all expelled out at one time. You know, kind of like you do. Like I had a daughter go to the hospital, I had to make sure that the ambulance got $20, this doctor got $20, that doctor got $20. That's how I did it. But anyway, so the one bonding thing that we have is really what made that go over the top or high is because of the parks. So they are bonding revenue to outlay building, we're building a park and a brand new pool. So that's why our bonding has gotten higher. But let me tell you something, good news. It's important on whether or not what kind of rating we have as a city. I don't exactly understand that, but I do know that I don't know who it is that rates us, but it's because they trust us to fulfill our expenses and our liabilities for our bonding. We have an A rating. That's really good for a size we are. So that means that we have been really good stewards of the bondings that we've had. We've made sure that there's enough revenue to cover those. And we still balance the budget. At least we have the last 2 years.
Thank you.
So,
Okay, either of the two of you?
Want to go first, Jeff?
Sure.
I know too much.
No, you're fine. Well, I hate debt. I live like that personally. I don't have debt. I don't live off credit cards. My wife and I have been very frugal over our years. We don't owe on a house. We don't owe on cars. Now, is our car a little older? Yes, it is. But we don't owe anything. That's how I see us having to run the city for a while, at a minimum, if we are going to be able to keep people in the community. I know there are a lot of fixed income, seasoned citizens out there, and where this is heading, and again, this did not include the water, but where this is heading is somewhat disastrous, potentially. We're talking about raising $20 or $25 a month just for water, and that's on top of the other debt that we already have. So from a debt perspective, the way I always look at things is it's not a revenue problem. I don't want to quote somebody on this. It's not a revenue problem, it's a spending problem. And so, again, by the way, that was wrong, Reagan. I should give him the credit. But I thoroughly believe, just like last time, that I can dig in on the budget and I can find the frivolous, or even sometimes it's not frivolous. Sometimes it's just, we need to do some comparison shopping. And the last time that I was up here on this council, one of the things we did, and Becky was up here, I believe, one year when we did this, the 120,000 savings on the insurance, was that?
Was that going to Myrna? Did we go to Myrna?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, we went to Myrna, that was like a
Double-edged sword.
Yeah. And so we were able to save money of $120,000 a year by doing just a comparison shopping. So sometimes it's just getting in and looking and trying to find each of those things, and it's tedious. Let me tell you, the budget is a tedious. You will just say, you can be overwhelmed real quick, but you keep digging and you keep digging and you keep digging, and you'll find a nugget here and you'll find a nugget there. So for me, that's what I'm planning on doing again. I will dig into it. I will do everything in my power to help keep it down. Now, will there be some increases? There's a good possibility. I'm not going to say that there won't be, but at least if we can lower those increases over time, it should at least alleviate the long-term explosion that I'm seeing with the cost of this. Because the water pipeline started out, I believe, we were going to have 28 different cities and $12 million. Last I looked, there's 2 cities and approximately $50 million. And I don't think that we even have all of the land yet at this time. So anyway, that's that's where I'm at on the debt thing. As you can tell, I don't like it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good
Jillian?
question.
I almost want to ask what the question was again. I'm not a hateful person. I don't despise things. I try to shine light on the positives. We're living in a stagnant society. People are turning their backs. The aging population is a vulnerable one, coming down the pike in about 20 years. We do have a beautiful community here that takes care of one another, from what I can see, and we have to continue that. One thing absent is a community center for the seniors. Easy access, so if they get a hip replaced, they can go to PT there instead of having to drive very far. We need to continue those things. When my husband was having seizures and my father was drunk in Cameron, I knew I was in a good place because the right people came to my door with the right tools, the right skills in moments. Okay, you don't get that in the city, and let's uphold that. If we had a couple extra cops or 2 or 3 cops, we shouldn't shave them from the budget. That's extra icing on the cake. We have a raging river up and down from Oklahoma, Texas to Canada. And we're on the corner of where UMKC School of Medicine is going to open up in St. Joe. I hear Liberty and Hospital is being bought by KU, but now a senator thinks that we shouldn't transfer over a KU Kansas side style to Missouri. We have to look at it. Well, that's denying access to a growing population and easy access if you fall down and start bleeding. And you really need a trauma unit, okay? We can lifeline it, but and ambulances to the periphery of our contracted areas, all those things are important. Cutting the budget is going to be very difficult, and that is a good thing to balance the budget. What I understand, the budget has been balanced. We have been making very conservative expenditures here in Cameron. And I just don't want it to stagnate further. City ordinances and things like that, community pride needs to be renewed. We need to dust this off. We were a thriving community with the railroads. We can still be a thriving community with truck stops and people that are camping, wanting to hike, wanting to use the trails. It'll bring peace to the older, the veterans that have fought for our freedoms. We have high-speed internet here. How many people use the internet here in Cameron? Are they happy with it?
Yes.
Okay, that is a big deal that we don't want to overlook. We should be thankful for that. I like classic rock and roll. The radio station, does anybody else listen to that and enjoy it? No? Well, they just have an array of information that goes on the local channel, and I like it.
Let's move on to one more question, okay?
Sure.
Okay, does anyone? Yes.
I appreciate so much the new ballpark and the soccer park, and those things have really added to the quality of life, and they're just lovely. A lot of good things are going on. But I know so many people complain, and rightfully so, about the condition of roads. There are some streets in this town that the asphalt is gone and you're down the ground. And I'm wondering, so many times you see the road crews out working very hard and they're filling potholes with asphalt, which in 6 months, that's a pothole again. So that seems to be a waste of money. The quick fix Band-Aid is a big waste of money. On the street where I live, on East Street, from 3rd Street to Grand, it's hardly even a street. And they've had to dig up the road and fix water pipes. And so we've got that sinking there, plus all the potholes. So I'm wondering, at what point will the roads become as important as some of the other things now on the budget?
They already have. We, like I said before, we have a $500,000 budget for our roads this year. This starting in October. So you're gonna see a lot more going on. I can't remember the last time I saw something getting resurfaced. And that's one of my biggest pet peeves is we should never stop taking care of our roads. But we did. And so, but it is a top priority, it really is. Our department head knows this. We talk to him, so it's a priority.
Well, my point is the quick fixes that are being done our big waste of money.
Yeah, that's probably would be a good idea to talk to the head of the streets and find out exactly what their plan is. I know that there's some manhole covers that are up too high and that have actually destroyed people's vehicles. I know the reason they put asphalt in them, it's to keep people from blowing their tires out until it can be better fixed. I don't know, I just talk to them, I just expect things to get done. And it has to go in a way, in an order for them, and I don't know what that is, but it is a priority, and the department head and our city manager knows this. And we've allotted money for it, all I know is that.
Okay.
I understand.
Do either of you have something to,
How far out, yes, I would ask, how far out do the bids go? They just go to the local paper or the county? Who all knows whenever we're wanting to have a big operation?
It's on our city website, I know for a fact, and then we have certain contractors that have been vetted by our city. And once we have something for them, say an engineering group or CNP construction down here, if we have something that we need to move dirt on, then they know, they've already been pre-qualified by the city, so they get it, so there's quite a bit actually.
We need a rapid response. I've been here 3 years, and I'm afraid that the pandemic may have taken out some of the people that were skilled labor, that could have trained some people. There's not passing the torch and talent. So I think unless we can train up some prisoners to come out and make cement or something creative that the state could help fund, it just needs to be a coordinated effort larger than 3 streets. But I see the creative financing that went into this, and 3 streets in a project is better than 1 a year. So
Those are full bills, and there's gonna be more than just 3 streets.
I was told in my cul-de-sac, because it kind of sits like this, that they lack the engineering and the manpower, which I know they've added on, or they're looking to add on. Don't know where they are, a little bit of a new truck and such. So I mean, these are good things. They are moving forward with that. One of the things I'd like to stop the bleed, going back to how to pay for things and the infrastructure costs. $42 million is what we're looking at breaking down with the city to see if even we can pay for it. And the other communities, like Maysville, and all these cities that fragmented out, they're gonna want water too someday. They're gonna have to come to us. It's like Monopoly I see in my head for the vision, I hope. We have this reservoir that's drying out, and a 3/4 round trail that's not done. And
Jill,
yes,
we need to stay with the format
yes,
and ask questions and answer questions.
Sure.
Okay? So do we have any other questions?
John, might
Well,
want to speak.
can I go ahead?
Yeah, oh yes, you can,
Just real quick.
with roads.
Yeah, with the roads. Just to let you know, what they're doing, it's called cold patch, I believe. And what they do, it is just a temporary fix. And you're right, in 6 months, sometimes less, it can actually get worse. The positive piece with that is they can go out in weather that may not be able to be done with the other type of patching materials. So you can kind of get it compacted, at least get it in there so you don't have additional destruction of that area. I do remember that from being on the council previously. But the people that we're using to do these also need to be held accountable, because we've done some roads around town and roads that we wanted done, and they didn't come out the way they were supposed to. So that's the other piece of the puzzle is we do vet people, or vet the companies. But then we just kind of let them, however it gets done, it gets done. And then we don't go back and say, hey, listen, we need you to come back and fix that. And that's something else that would keep our costs down, is you're gonna have to come back out and fix it yourself. Instead of putting it on our city staff. Our city staff is amazing here, but they don't have the numbers to be able to go out and fix other corporations' mistakes on the roads.
Okay, and we have a question in the back?
Yes, housing prices and road prices have skyrocketed across the nation, as I'm sure most of you are aware. And Cameron's in desperate need of affordable housing and rental property. what, if anything, are your ideas or things that you think the city can do to get more affordable housing in here for the working people that cannot afford rent?
We'd love to start.
Well, we gotta have utilities that are available, to more people. Good schools, will be an
George,
attraction.
you have to stay on task here. How do we get more affordable housing and rental property? So focus on that subject only, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Thanks.
Affordable, subjective.
Well, if you're making minimum wage in Missouri, which I believe is $12.30 an hour.
So maybe an $80,000 budget for a house, do we have those? Yeah, maybe we should build more, right? We have a sustainable tax base. Again, our schools need to be up to snuff so people want to move here, so we can create those fixes. Solar panels over the evaporating water in our reservoirs could bring in money to pay our electricity, to balance things. That would be another thing. Oh, I can move there, I can afford the utilities.
Okay, back to you, John.
Well, to be completely honest with you, I don't know that there's a whole lot that a city can do in this particular situation. What continues to happen in Cameron is when a house comes up for sale, a tenant buys them. And then they've got more and more and more houses that they can rent out. And then it's a supply and demand thing. And so I think that's a large part of it. Now, maybe we could work with banks or whatever, but it's really not the responsibility of the government on that piece. What we can do, I mean, this is really more of like a federal type thing where you get the interest rate back down to where you can have people be able to afford a little more house or whatever. But there is some projects going on now where they're tearing down the old houses. The city has been paying for this, doing an agreement with homeowners of dilapidated houses. And so they're going in, tearing down, they're working with those folks, and then they turn around and then they have to build a new house within a certain amount of time. And it's usually a little more affordable type of house. But I would imagine Becky could probably give you more details on that specifically. But again, I'm not real sure that there's a lot that the Cameron City Council can do to increase the inventory. I mean, it's about inventory, it's about supply demand, it's about interest rates. I just don't know that there's a whole lot that we could do at this level. But it's still a good question.
Becky?
Cameron is a 51% rental rate. We have lots of rentals. And we have some good rentals, and we have some rentals that are not so good. I also know that when you have a rental next to a homeowner, that sometimes doesn't work real well with the homeowner, because we have a lot of absentee landlords here in town. I do know that there are two things that a city can do. I do know that there are tax credits that they try to come into our house. We actually have 11 tax credits for affordable housing here. I've counted them, 11. And you can only get into them with a certain this and a certain that, but it is affordable for people. We have 11. I believe Chillicothe has 10. We have one less than we do. So then another thing that comes in that is one of my pet peeves about low-income housing and rentals in the city of Cameron. I'm a landlord too, and I would be the first one to say, let's have, no, this is not going to be popular, landlord inspections. I would like to see citizens and their children be safe in our homes, in the rental homes. I would like for them to be able to go up and down stairs in their houses and not fall without a rail. There's just so many things about going on in our city that I would like to see, and I've never said this before, I say it to Steve all the time. I think we need to have a rental inspection to keep these families. I had a lady in my office and she was scared to death of the grandkids in one of the rentals here. Just scared to death. There wasn't a fire, see anything. So I mean, that's where I was like, oh my gosh, that's not a way to live. So I would like to see the rentals we have become better quality for our citizens to be safe. There you go.
Thank you very much. So it's about 6:45 now, and so we'd like to end the question and answer period as a group. And this is a time to just mingle, have some refreshments, and talk to the candidates one-on-one, okay? And thank you all for coming tonight. I appreciate it very much.